This is my nephew, you know.
Oh, jeez.
That's a problem.
How are you?
Are you doing something special for friends?
Because technically, it doesn't.
I think we're going to Cooper's Hawk. Yeah.
That's an expensive place.
I'm not paying.
Oh,
so
good.
they- They
Your
don't-
parents? Or
Yeah.
You can't add, you can't amend that after the meeting.
No, I don't think I'll have.
No.
No.
Ask her if she's seen a copy of that letter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Have you seen
that's
a copy
okay.
of
Have you
this
seen
letter?
this? This was given to us.
You
You might,
wanna
you want to
read
look
that?
at it.
Robert's Rules of Order.
You're going to want to read
Say,
it.
is there a motion to amend the agenda?
Thank you.
Not this weird order that we're doing. but just because of the system we have.
A few months ago. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah, we met.
We don't follow,
Yeah.
because of this
I remember
software
because
we have, we're not
you introduced him.
following
He was
the proper
running for
proper
city council. Yeah.
parliamentary procedure.
Went to the
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Good.
Pretty good. How you been?
You're on here.
No, last week, or 2 weeks ago, I ran into your banners. Do you still want them? The big banners that were on the balloon for the souvenir?
Oh, my gosh. Well, sure, I'll take them off.
She's working.
If I knew you were gonna be here, I'd burn them to you today.
Oh, yeah, or you can bring them and just give
I'll
them
give
and
them to him.
make sure I get them, I sure
I'll
do.
give it
Yeah.
Geez, I see where Pullman voted against that,
two or four.
raising the parking rates. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
we'll cut and paste
two or
we'll put
four.
his name on.
They haven't raised those rates in 50 years.
I think that's what he
The people, the people's concerns, the people park there every day, which is not generally Joliet
Well, they,
resident. And some of them are.
I say
Like the last one that was
70%
young
of
and
people that
energetic.
park on Decker all have monthly passes.
Right.
So, that's a business expense, they just write it off anyway.
They were waiting on one more.
But those decks are falling apart. They haven't done anything. I mean, there's chunks of concrete falling out of the roof. They're hitting cars. They hit a person. The stairs
Right.
were blocked off. The elevators don't work.
You can't pay.
All set?
All set.
Okay, the meeting will please come to order. This is a duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of the city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of this board is final. In respect, it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you do have recourse in the court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against. Final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Ms. Safford?
Here.
Mr. Alessio?
Here.
Mr. McCauley? Mr. Noctree?
Here.
Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Thompson? Mr. Hennessy?
Here.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the third item on your agenda is the approval of the October 17th, 2019 Zoning Board of Appeals minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have motion second to approve. Call the roll.
Ms. Safford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Noctree?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is citizens to be heard on agenda items. This is a section for anyone wanting to speak regarding items that are listed on the agenda, except for those items that are already listed as public hearings. And I believe we do have all public hearings today, so we won't entertain. Is there anybody here to be heard on anything other than public hearing items? There will be an opportunity at the end of the meeting as well for public comments. Moving on to, I just want to make an announcement. If there's anybody here for petition number 2019-38, which is a special use permit for an adult use cannabis dispensing organization at 2903 Colorado Avenue, there is a request by the applicant to withdraw that application at this time and refile it at a later date, as well as item E on the agenda, petition 2019-39, which is a special use permit to allow a truck parking / cartage facility located at 2250 Emerald Drive. That also has been requested for withdrawal by the applicant. So at this time, individually, if there could be a motion to table the, withdraw these items.
The one on Colorado table. Withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
You know? Is it because, why was that withdrawn? Is that some
They're going-
complication or?
They're going to, yeah, I'm gonna have Jane address that if she, they're going to refile.
Jane Bernhard, city planner, one of the city planners. The applicant withdrew for one, they weren't ready at the time, and B, the city council just adopted the zoning regulations at Tuesday night's meeting. So they felt that it was best to just wait and see how that would play out before they had that come to this board. So
Okay.
they're scheduled for a special zoning board of appeals meeting on December 5th. That agenda has either been posted.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, so that'll be on the next agenda, special meeting.
okay, thank you.
So we need to table that to the December 5th special meeting?
No, these are just, we're gonna give them new case number. These can be with a motion to
New case
withdraw.
numbers.
Okay. Right.
So we have a motion and a second to table? Yeah.
And you could do them individually if you could. for
Okay.
For our system
Motion to
here.
table petition 2019-38. Withdraw, I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion to withdraw.
I apologize. You can withdraw that. It's just an announcement.
Okay.
I was told earlier the system has to have a record of action at this time, so we're just making that announcement under public comments.
I second whatever was the correct thing.
Yeah.
My
Hold the board,
apologies.
hold the board.
What happens when you withdraw. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go back to the beginning of the old business public hearing. And the first item on your agenda is petition 2019-34, a special use permit to allow a massage therapy business within an office suite located at 310 North Amos Avenue, and that is in Suite 201K. The applicant in this case is Ashley Morellas, the business owner. Is Ashley available? Is she here? Okay. The property owner is Joliet Acquisition Group LLC, and the request is for a variation, two requests, and I'll just mention on your agenda under old business is a special use for the massage therapy business. Under new business in the next case number 2019-35, which is the same application, they also needed to add a variation of use for this particular zoning district. And so we combined those requests into one staff report, but
Is
at
there going to
the,
be one vote or two on
we would ask for two separate votes, just because, again, the system lists these cases individually, as the minutes are as the verbiage is being recorded. So the first applicant, the applicant is Ashley Morellas, a variation of use to allow a massage therapy business in the B3 General Business District, which is in an RB restricted business district. That's the petition 35. And then a special use permit to allow a massage therapy business, which is petition 2019-34, within an office suite located at 310 North Amos. And this is a request that must be considered by the City Council following the recommendation of the Zoning Board. The property in question is approximately .74 acres or 32,345 square feet. The unit in question, Suite 201K, I believe we have a floor plan for that, is 172 square feet, and it's located on the second floor of the building. The property, again, is zoned RB, which is Restricted Business District. These are typically medical uses. The property has 20 off-street parking spaces, including 2 accessible parking spaces, and then there's another 112 parking spaces available in the adjoining parking lot to the north. And that serves the building located at 2000 Amos, also owned by the same property owner. These cases, both of these were filed, the first one on September 13th of 2019 and the second case on October 18th, 2019. To the surrounding zoning is to the north and south and to the west are all RB restricted business district, and these are all medical office uses. To the direct east is R2 single family residential. That's the zoning, but the use is the actual, the ComEd utility corridor and electric transmission lines. Applicable regulations are as noted in the report. We explain in the report what a variation of use entails. It's basically any time it's defined to mean that relief from strict compliance with the use limitations of the zoning ordinance regarding the classification, regulation, and restriction of location. I'm not going to read the criteria for special use permits, but those are listed in the staff report. Under discussion, the City of Joliet zoning ordinance states that massage therapy businesses require a special use permit. Therefore, the petitioner is requesting approval of a special use permit to allow the massage therapy business to be named The Guardian's Touch in an office suite located, Suite 201K, located in the existing three-story building at 310 North Amos. Additionally, the petitioner is requesting the variation of use to allow that type of business in an RB restricted business district. Therapeutic massage and pain management services will be provided within one massage therapy room as shown on the submitted floor plan. There will be one full-time employee. The 172 square foot tenant space will include its own dedicated reception desk, which will be separated from the massage table by a curtain. The applicant has indicated that there is an existing waiting area located across from the elevator, and this area has 4 chairs that are shared with the other tenants of Suite 201. Restrooms are available off the hallway to the common area, which is shared with the other tenants. And the petitioner has indicated that the hours of operation are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 9 to 3, and Wednesdays and Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., closed on Sundays and Mondays. The property includes adequate off-street parking to accommodate the existing and proposed uses. Other types of tenants in the building include a business consulting service, a psychologist, a sales office, a nonprofit, medical offices, a laboratory, a stock trader, mortgage sales, a lawyer, home health sales, a healthcare company, transportation sales, and a marketing company. Suite 201 specifically includes a stock trader, mortgage sales, several lawyers, and a home health sales office. So you get an idea of what other businesses are in that floor area. If the zoning board desires to approve a variation of use to allow a massage therapy business, which is a special use in the B3 district, in an RB restricted business district, as well as a special use permit to allow a massage therapy business within the office suite, the following conditions would be included. 1, that the special use granted shall herein terminate and lapse, and I won't read the rest, but basically there's a sunset clause of 180 days if nothing happens with the occupancy, and the special use would then go away. 2, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And 3, that a business license shall be obtained. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner here. Raise your right hand, I must swear you in. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Ashley Morales, 1155 Berry Court.
Okay. Any comments you'd like to make?
I've never done this before. I mainly just picked the location because it's more of, it has more dignity to the location. It has medical practices, chiropractic services, those kind of things that pertain to exactly what I do. The schools in the area mean that there's children, means there's parents, there's pregnant women, there's a prenatal clinic across the street. I do prenatal massage myself. I have price changes for prenatal massage at 24 weeks, just so that way they can continue to take care of themselves, just because lower back pain, because of the unbalance of weight, because of the child. Just being able to take care of stress that leads to other medical issues. I've worked on people who have had surgeries, those kind of things. They use it as a way to be able to recover easier, just from all this fascial tissue and everything like that. In terms of prices, it's just, you just pay for the time that you're getting. So like $60 for 60 minutes, $90 for 90 minutes if that's something you're looking for. There's a price change for children. You pay less just because they're not like a full body, and it doesn't seem that reasonable to charge a child full price. But it is required from 11 to 15. The parent has to be with the child. It's not requested. It's you need to be there just because it's a child and I don't know them and they don't know me. So, and you never know what could happen. You don't know the person that you're giving your child to. So as long as the parent is comfortable with leaving their child there, after 3 sessions, then the child can be on their own if that's what the child wants. So the child has to be comfortable with that. I have a website, not a website, it's called Clinic Sense. It allows for soap notes. That's something that we use to keep track of the things we do. So medical practices, what massage things we do, what do we observe about the client that came in. You're able to book online, intake forms, it lets us know your health history. And for that, I'm making it required to fill out because I work at Massage Envy right now for almost 2 years. And you can click that you have spinal issues, but then nobody fills in the description. So that way I can know if you have scoliosis, I have to change the way how I do a technique on your back. And I wouldn't want to put direct pressure on somebody else's scoliosis because your spine is changing in direction. So to be able to protect from any pain or anything like that, future issues. And there's 2 laundry services nearby, Republic Quick Wash and Swan Cleaners and Services. Both offer different things. I have to figure out about prices. But other than that, I guess not really much else to say. I don't really know.
Okay, the couple of concerns, it's only 172 square feet.
Yes.
So what, you're gonna have a reception area in there?
On the display right here, there's the waiting room that's in the front. In terms of reception, the laptop is gonna be on the counter. There's like, it's like 4 feet by 2. So there I'd be able to take care of, like payments and laptops and everything. I'm having a meeting tomorrow with BMO Harris Bank. There is a woman there that's gonna be talking to me about business and taxes, setting up a business account. And then there's a man there that's named Adam. He does with like terminals for your credit card. So he's be the one that'd be telling me like what exactly I can use for the credit card. The curtain is supposed to provide privacy for the person who's getting undressed. It's to stay closed at all times as long as the client is getting redressed and undressed. Pretty much.
Does that meet all the requirements required by state statute and everything for what's required in a massage place? I mean, it seems rather small.
In a way it is, but I also, because it's 15 feet, I also measured out how everything is supposed to work. There's supposed to be at the very least, from the table end where the headrest isn't, is gonna be like around 1.5 feet. And around the entire space is like 3 feet to be able to move around. So the way how I move my body is different from each area. So sometimes you tilt yourself more this way, sometimes you're more frontal forward, you have 1 foot back, those kind of things.
You have a receptionist there also?
It's just gonna be myself, so I don't have any employees, it's just me. So I'd be the one that's taking care of the checking in, checking out.
Where would that be located?
That's right next to the sink where the laptop is at. So the curtain is supposed to divide the spaces. So, let's see. Because the way I have it set up is that you can have an hour-long massage and then there's a 15-minute in between from the next client to the last. So the 15 minutes allows for cleanup, it allows for to clean the stool, clean around the headrest, so that way you can have sanitary. And then with that time, you can check somebody in, you can check somebody out. At Massage Envy, I get my entire table flipped over in less than 2 minutes because I only have, if I'm lucky, 2-3 minutes to be able to clean my room entirely.
And has the petitioner been vetted for all the?
Yes,
Required.
the background check process is underway, so we were, and that, it was as of September 10th. So I'm assuming that's been completed now. And then prior to the city council meeting, we'll confirm that everything checks out, or we wouldn't schedule it for the council. But she is underway.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have one or maybe two. Are your clients all referrals? Do doctors refer patients to you, or can anyone apply to?
Anyone can apply. There are chiropractic areas in the area that I might be able to work with so that way they can guide clients to my area. One place that I do want to put cards to and talk with is the prenatal clinic across the street, because they have more of the clientele that I'm looking for in terms of prenatal massage. So by them clearing the woman for prenatal massage, because you have to look at high-risk pregnancy, so they'll be able to hand me that information by giving me, saying like, she's all clear, she can get massage, they can refer her over to me. But other than putting business cards anywhere else, that's the only way I could get like referral from that kind of thing.
At where you're working now is massage?
Envy and Sherwood.
Okay, and you're not the only person?
I'm one of 25, if I remember right.
Do you sense maybe a possible security issue?
With the building itself, not really. From what I can tell, there isn't much of a criminal history in the area. Light-wise, I can see very clearly it's not on a bad side of a neighborhood, so I don't picture any issues arising. There's always the potential of somebody being a little unhinged, but other than that, I don't believe so, security-wise.
Will you have some ability quickly to call for help if you needed it?
In terms of help, yes, I would have my phone nearby. I know that my parents have already had me buy pepper spray, looking into things like that. If there was a way to make myself safer, I'm all for it. I'm willing to hear anything out in terms of that. Other than that, I could find a way, but I wouldn't want a camera inside the room itself.
Right.
Just because there's only a curtain in between. I don't want to breach that level of privacy.
Right.
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor. Ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve. Good luck with your first business there. We all had to have some place to start.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Noctre?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then just as a reminder, that motion was for the first case, which was the special use. And now under new business, there'll be another need for a motion. I won't bore you with the summary of the staff report, but just for the system, the way it tracks cases individually with a recording of the actions, there would be a need for a motion on 2019-35, which is a variation of use, to allow that type of business in an RB restricted business zoning district.
Motion will be in order.
Again, motion to approve.
I'd second it.
We have motion and second. Poll the board.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Noctre?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is petition number 2019-36, which is a variation to reduce the side yard setback requirement from 20 feet to 15 feet in order to build a roof porch at 601 Catherine Street. So this is a 5-foot encroachment variance. The applicants in this case are Jim and Rachel Meyer. Are they here today? They are also the owners of the property. The request is to allow that reduction from 20 feet to 15 feet with a 5-foot encroachment in order to build a roof porch addition in an R1 single-family residential district at 601 Catherine. The property is 22,641 square feet. It contains a 1,680 square foot 2-story house that was built in 1935. The property also contains a 947 square foot detached garage and a 158 square foot shed and an in-ground pool. The current lot coverage is 11.6%, which complies with the maximum 30% requirement. The petition was filed September 18th of this year. Surrounding zoning to the north, east, and west is all R1 single-family residential, and then to the south is R2 single-family residential. Applicable regulations are as noted in the staff report. The petitioner seeks to construct a 7-foot deep by 32.47-foot long roof porch along the front facade of the house facing Catherine. And I believe that photo shows the stone front of the house. The porch would generally run the length of that stone facade. The house currently does not have any type of covered entry at the front door that faces Catherine Street, and the property is on a corner lot, so there is a frontage requirement on both Catherine and Douglas. The zoning ordinance requires a minimum 25-foot front yard along Catherine and a minimum 20-foot corner side yard along Douglas. The existing house was built in 1935, which is prior to the adoption of the zoning ordinance regulations in 1968. And the ordinance requires that on a corner lot in any R district or a corner lot adjoining an R district, the least width of a side yard along the street line on such corners shall be 2/3 of the minimum front yard required by ordinance or 20 feet, whichever is greater. In this case, it's the 20 feet. The existing house is non-conforming with respect to that 20-foot corner side yard on Douglas, as the existing house is only at 15 feet. In order to construct the proposed roof porch addition along that two-story portion of the east facade, and to keep the end of the porch flush with the south facade, the petitioner seeks a variation to encroach 5 feet into the 20-foot side yard. The petitioner has submitted architectural elevations for the proposed porch that depict a gabled entryway flanked by wood and stone veneer columns, as well as an architectural shingle roof to match the existing roof. And if the zoning board desires to approve the variation to allow the roof porch addition, the following condition should be included, and that is that a building permit shall be obtained prior to construction. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner here? Do you swear the evidence you're about presents the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Jim Mayer, 601 Catherine Street in Joliet, 60435.
Any comments?
The only comment I have is that it's part of a larger project that we've had ongoing for some time to renovate our property. Our neighbors in general have been very supportive of it, and we look forward to completing the project upon approval of the variance.
Okay, any questions by the board? Any comments?
Just I guess, an observation, this porch will not break a precedent because it extends to where the house currently is that correct?
That's correct.
So the house is already 15 feet rather than 20 feet from the property line.
Correct. It matches the setback of the existing house.
And that was grandfathered in, I assume, before the zoning requirement.
The house was constructed prior to the present zoning regulations.
Okay. We could force him to have a larger porch.
Require him to move the house? No.
Move the house, there you go.
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed?
I'll speak in favor. I live on the county today.
Come up, you have to speak into the microphone. Got to swear you in.
Okay.
You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes, I do.
Name and address.
My name is Dave Murphy. I live at 1215 Mayfield Avenue, which is 9 houses away from the 601 Catherine. And I've noticed him do some exceptional rehab work. He really cleaned that house up, and I can see the work he's doing is very well. I don't know him. I just walk the neighborhood, and he's got it looking very well. So I'm sure the porch will be a good addition.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
I move we approve.
Second.
Have motion and second to approve petition. Poll the board.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Noctry?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is petition 2019-37, a variation to allow a driveway that does not lead to a garage located at 1111 Waverly Place. Is the petitioner present? Okay. The applicants in this matter are John and Susan Gill, also the owners of the property. The petitioners are requesting that the variance to allow this driveway to be constructed. They would like to build a 12-foot wide paved driveway in the required front yard in an R2 single-family residence district located at 1111 Waverly Place. I think we have it noted on the screen, the general location of where the driveway would be, placed in front of the living room window area. The property in question is 5,125 square feet in size, and it contains a 988 square foot one-story house, which was built in 1955. The property also contains a 308 square foot one-car detached garage in the back. The current lot coverage is 25.29%, so that complies with the maximum 30% lot coverage requirement, and this petition was filed on October 16th of this year. Surrounding zoning in all directions is R2 single-family residential district. Applicable regulations are as noted in the staff report. Under discussion, the petitioner seeks to construct a 12-foot wide by 35-foot long paved driveway in the front yard of the house located at 1111 Waverly. The house also has the garage as mentioned, and that garage in the back has a paved 13-foot long driveway off of the alley. And I believe we have a photograph of that as well. Per the zoning ordinance, all garages and carports are required to include and maintain a paved driveway and parking area. Driveways may only be constructed in a side yard or that part of a front yard leading directly to an attached garage. And then they must also maintain, the driveways must maintain a 2.5-foot setback from property lines unless administratively approved by the city manager or designee. That ordinance was adopted in 2012. In order to construct the driveway in the front yard, the petitioner is now herefore seeking a variation to the zoning board as the city manager or his designee, in this case the community development director, is deferring to the zoning board of appeals with respect to making a decision on this type of request. Staff has concerns that the addition of a parking space and a removal of the lawn area in the front yard will in fact alter the character of the property and the block, given the prevalence of relatively narrow lots in the neighborhood. However, there are houses located at 1106, 1108, and 1119 Waverly, all on the same block, that also have driveways located in the front yard. Staff did research past zoning records for those properties and found no evidence that they sought variations from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And also, staff found no evidence that actual building permits were obtained for those driveways. Staff did find one record of a building permit for a driveway project at 1106 Waverly, but we were unable to determine if that permit also included the driveway portion that sits in front of the house. It may have been just for the side driveway. So with that, if the zoning board does desire to approve this variation to allow a driveway that does not lead to a garage, to allow the 12 by 35-foot driveway at 1111 Waverly, the following condition should be included. One, that a building permit shall be obtained prior to construction, and that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner here? Yes. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes.
Name and addresses.
John Gill, 1111 Waverly.
Comments?
The reasoning why we want to put a driveway in front of our house is there's nowhere to park a second vehicle. And we looked at doing a 2-car garage, which would leave us no backyard at all. And we happen to have 2 dogs. So we got to give the dogs somewhere to go. We've been parking one of our vehicles out in front of the house. In that 24 years' time, we've had 6 vehicles hit, 2 of them totaled. We've caught people hitting it. Others, we go out in the morning and we see that it's been hit. It's becoming very expensive that way. Also, in the 1500 block, they have a new driveway being put in their front yard, and there is no access to their garage. So, and also in the 1600 block is also another one. With that being said, I would also be in accordance to ordinance 16900, section 19-142, which is for having your vehicle off the street during the snow. And right now I can't, unless I park my truck in my front yard.
Okay, any questions?
So the garage you have is a single
Yes.
vehicle? And you have at least 2 vehicles, probably?
Yes.
And I drove down the street, and yeah, there are several places where the front lawn is paved or one way or another for parking or for an actual driveway.
And I'm trying to do it legally. I don't know if they've done it legally or illegally.
Has any other cars been hit besides yours?
Oh, yeah.
And those people.
How wide is the street? Is that a narrow, how wide is that street?
It's not that narrow. It's just, there's a lot of cars that are parked out on the street.
Well, there seems to be some precedents set here with all these other houses having their lots. Is there anybody in the audience in favor with this petition? Is there anyone opposed? Apparently the neighbors aren't that concerned. We have no one here in opposition. I'm going to close the the
Well, I did
petition.
have one
You have a
question.
question?
So there is some space in the backyard for parking, you just choose not to use it?
We have a fenced-in backyard, so we would have to lose what we have left. Now, that shows that we have a pool. We do not have that any longer.
But if you put a driveway in the back there or space to park a vehicle there, you would have no yard.
None
We literally have the smallest yard.
on the block.
It's bad.
So what about the characteristics of the neighborhood if everybody start removing their front lawn to park there?
Well, right now, we have that across the street. I mean, directly across the street, they have that. 2 houses over have that.
I don't think it changes it.
I don't
truly
think it
don't.
changes it.
It's not an eyesore? I'm just asking.
I don't think so.
And there's a house on Hutchins that has it in their driveway, and their whole side yard is concreted for driveway.
Any other questions? Okay, Chair, close the petition to the floor and ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Alessio?
I'm gonna vote no. I sympathize with your guys' situation and everything, but as Ms. Safford mentioned, I think, the increasing amount of concrete in people's front yards, I know the neighborhood very well. I don't think it's best for the neighborhood, so I'm gonna vote no.
Mr. Noctre?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Sanford?
No.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. 3-2.
Motion passes.
Want to explain the
Thank
vote?
you. Thank you for your time.
That motion passes, so you'll need to apply for a building permit. Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is petition number 2019. We already mentioned, and I'll mention again, that petition 2019-38 and petition 2019-39, if anybody has stepped in for those were withdrawn. Petition 2019-40 is a special use permit to allow a truck repair facility located at 290 Alessio Drive. Petitioner here, perfect timing, Mike. I'm going to summarize the staff report. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow a truck repair facility located at 290 Alessio Drive. This request must be considered by the City Council following the recommendation of the Zoning Board. The property was annexed in 1966. The building was built between 1986 and 1993 according to available Polk street directories. The building, subject to this special use permit request, is one of 11 metal buildings in a light industrial development, which is located southwest of the intersection of Richard Street and Manhattan Road. The industrial development spans 4 parcels. The property in question is zoned B3 General Business, and the adjacent properties to the east are zoned I1 Light Industrial. Therefore, the development has split zoning. The development is industrial in nature. Buildings in this development have been used for warehousing, small-scale manufacturing, contractors, storage, fabrication, and truck and trailer repair. This case was filed October 18th of this year. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character, to the north, east, and west of the property is a mix of industrial and commercial uses with city and county commercial and industrial zoning. South of the property is Sugar Creek subdivision, that's in unincorporated Will County, and Sugar Creek runs east-west through the subject property. Applicable regulations are as noted in the staff report. Under discussion, the City of Joliet zoning ordinance states that an auto body shop, which is a B3 General Business District use, is allowed in the B3 General Business District as a special use. Therefore, the petitioner is requesting approval of a special use permit to operate an auto body/diesel truck repair business within the existing warehouse in an existing commercial and industrial area of the city. The petitioner will only be working on tractor cabs and not the trailers. The petitioner will only be leasing the 6,000 square foot building at 290 Alessio Drive and 2,400 square feet of outdoor space to the east of the building. The subject area the area subject to the business's lease agreement with the property owner is shown on the site map and overall development map. The intended hours of operation would be Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Conceptual floor plans for the proposed business were submitted with the petition. There will be up to 2 employees, 1 clerical and 1 mechanic. Employees will park along the west side of the building. The business will operate by appointment. The business does not intend to need temporary outdoor storage since there is adequate space in the building to temporarily store trucks awaiting to be serviced or to be picked up. However, the business does plan to use the space directly east of the building to store trucks should the need arise. The site plan is attached to the report. Conditions: if the zoning board desires to approve the special use permit, the following conditions would be included. 1, the temporary outdoor storage of trucks and trailers awaiting to be serviced or to be picked up shall be limited to 10 days and shall be stored in the outdoor area as designated on the site plan. 2, no temporary or long-term outdoor storage of inoperable vehicles, boats, recreational vehicles, or parts, including tires, shall be permitted. 3, the building's address shall be clearly identified on the building. 4, the business owner shall apply for a business license. And 5, that the special use would terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days after the date of the ordinance. And I won't read the rest, but that's all standard language for condition 5. Condition 6, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And one last thing before I conclude, we did receive a letter dated several days ago. I think a copy was placed on the dais. I won't necessarily read it for the record unless you
That
want.
can't be entered into evidence anyway.
It's entered into evidence, but you have
It
that.
has to be placed on file with the secretary.
So you have that letter in your possession. So that concludes staff's report.
You swear the evidence you're about, oh, you know what to do? You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
I understand.
Name and
Yes, I do.
address.
Michael Hanson, attorney, 111 North Ottawa Street, representing the applicant. We've worked with staff on this matter, feel that the conditions placed on my client are satisfactory. This is an excellent use of this particular property. As you see, there's 11 buildings in this development. The building is set back from the main set of buildings. And, you know, we have a young entrepreneur, Hispanic person coming in, trying to start a business in our area, and I think it's a very likely and very good location for this business. So I'd urge approval of our petition.
Any questions by the board?
Mr. Hanson,
Yes, sir.
I believe we heard that there's at least one other automotive truck repair facility in that compound. Are you aware of that, or is it one or more than one?
No, there's no other ones, Mr.
None,
Mack.
none at the moment. The aerial photograph shows a lot of what appear to be truck trailers and miscellaneous other things. Anyway, sorry, that was not a question.
Sure.
You answered my question. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I should step up on behalf of the LSU.
Up.
I
Swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes, my name is Carla
Name and address.
Alessio Policandriotis. I live at 908 Valencia Drive in Shorewood. I'm representing the owners of the property, which is the Alessio Trust. I can tell you that there is not another, currently, another truck repair use of any of those buildings. However, probably all of those buildings have been used in the past for truck repair. I just wanted to make a side comment. I remember that first building that's across from the farm service there. I was working there when I was 16 years old, and I begged to become a diesel mechanic because my father's business, Alessio and Sons Company, was operating there, and I got to do all the hydraulic hoses and all the brake lines, and he forbid it. So now here I am fighting to let someone else follow my dream of being a diesel mechanic. Is kind of ironic. However, I suggest to you the photo that you're seeing, that's not the condition of the property as it exists now. I know you noted the tenant that has been removed is the tenant that is now no longer has that storage around 290 Alessio Drive. It's another use that's in that facility. And also, as to my right, none of that outdoor storage is there anymore. That tenant also has been removed. If you had any other questions.
Okay, questions? Someone else had their hand up in favor? Okay, come on forward. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your name and address, please.
Leonard Robinson, 311.
Speak, raise the mic up a little bit.
Leonard Robinson, 311 Sugar Valley Road, Joliet 60433. I live about 600 yards behind that property. That area, when I moved in 34 years ago, was pretty stable there. I suffer with COPD. They put more warehouses in that area. We get more diesel, sulfur fumes in that area than they've had in the years I've been there. I'm a non-smoker, and it's got to be coming from the air as far as what my doctors say. Since I've been there, CNN, Canadian National Railroad came through, adding more sulfur and diesel fumes to the air. That neighborhood is primarily AARP members. There's not very few young people in that area, and I don't think we need that additional stress.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone like to rebut that? Any comments?
What we have here is an enclosed building in which they're gonna do simple truck repair. I don't believe that's gonna impact the environment with respect to not only the water noise or the air quality, so. Very small, tiny operation.
Anyone else? Chair's going to close petition, ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Pull the board.
Mr. Noctree?
No.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Safford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Abstain.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
That motion passes. So moving on, the next item on your agenda is petition 2019-41. This is a special use permit to allow a truck repair and cartage facility located at 1728 through 1738 Irish Indian Trail. The applicant in this matter is Marchio Enterprises LLC. Are they here this afternoon? Yes. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow a truck repair and cartage facility. This request must be considered by the City Council following the recommendation of the ZBA. Under site-specific information, the property is 2.35 acres. It's zoned I-2 General Industrial. The site is improved with a one-story metal building that's used for a shop and a one-story metal building used for an office. Site improvements also include a large asphalt parking lot, 6-foot-high chain-link fence around the entire property, and berming along Irish Indian Trail. The Irish Indian Trail is a private drive. The buildings appear to have been built in the mid to late 1990s, according to the available Polk Street directories. The building was last used by J-Track LLC, a railroad contracting company. This case was filed October 18th of 2019. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the property is surrounded in all directions by I-2 general industrial zoning, and the property is located in a mature industrial park. Applicable regulations are as noted in the staff report. Under discussion, the property is currently vacant. The petitioner seeks to market the existing industrial property for truck repair and cartage. The City of Joliet zoning ordinance states that an auto body shop, which is a B3 general business use, is allowed in the I-2 general industrial zoning district as a special use when authorized by 2/3 majority vote of the mayor and council. A truck carting business is also allowed in the I-2 general industrial district as a special use. Therefore, the petitioner is requesting approval of the special use permit to operate both the truck repair and to allow, I should say, a truck repair and cartage facility within an existing warehouse and existing industrial development. At the time of the writing of the staff report, the petitioner has not found a user for the property. The petitioner is actively marketing the property. The petitioner has not provided floor plans for the two buildings. However, a conceptual site plan was provided and has been made part of the staff report. The conceptual site plan shows 21 truck parking stalls and 5 employee parking spaces. If the zoning board desires to approve the special use permit, the following conditions would be included. 1, that temporary outdoor storage of trucks and trailers awaiting to be serviced or to be picked up shall be limited to 10 days and shall be located in an area designated on a final site plan. 2, no temporary or long-term outdoor storage of inoperable vehicles, boats, recreational vehicles, or parts, including tires, shall be permitted. 3, the business owner shall apply for a business license. 4, the business owner shall submit a final site plan for the cartage and repair operations to city staff prior to the issuance of a business license. 5, that the special use permit shall terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days. And the rest of this is standard language I will not read. Condition 6 would state that should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and a possible revocation of the special use permit. That concludes staff's report.
Again, Michael Hanson, attorney, 111 North Ottawa Street, representing the petitioner. We are open for any questions.
Any questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes petition, asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
I second.
Did you second that?
I-
We have motion and a second to approve.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Safford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Noctre?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, petition 2019-42. This is a request for a variation to reduce the minimum side yards, or minimum setback from 3 feet to 1 feet, and to increase the maximum allowed lot coverage from 30% to 44% in order to allow construction of a 4-car garage located at 516 through 518 North Hickory Street. Is the petitioner present? Thank you. The petitioners in this matter are Jose L. Vasquez, also the owners of the property. They are requesting variations to reduce the minimum accessory structure setback from 3 feet to 1 foot and to increase the allowable lot coverage from 30% to 44% to allow construction of a 4-car garage in an R3 1 and 2 family residential district for the property located at 516 through 518 North Hickory. The property in question is 6,606 square feet. It contains a 1,988 square foot 1-story house, which is a duplex, built in 1967. The property currently contains a 479 square foot 2-car detached garage. The current lot coverage is already at 37.4%, and that exceeds the maximum 30% lot coverage. The property is zoned 1 and 2 family residential, R3. Petition was filed October 18th of 2019. And just a brief note, in the staff report, we noted that the data from the architect was used for calculating the lot coverage. They have actual measurements and plans. I just mentioned anecdotally in the staff report, there's a couple slight, very minor numeric discrepancies with the tax assessor's records as far as the information. So to be conservative, we use the higher numbers which were provided by the architect. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character. To the north, to the east is zoned R2 single-family residential. To the south and to the west is R3 1 and 2 family residential. Applicable regulations are as noted in the report. Under discussion, the petitioner desires to construct a 22-foot by 42-foot, total of 924 square foot, detached 4-car garage in order to provide covered parking for both of the duplex units. The new garage would replace the existing 479 square foot 2-car garage, and I think we have photos of that, as well as the uncovered paved parking spaces which are located to the west of the existing garage. Per the zoning ordinance, a minimum 3-foot side and rear setback is required for all detached accessory structures, including garages, sheds, pools, etc. The submitted plans indicate that the proposed 4-car garage would reduce the setback minimum on the north from 3 foot to 1 foot, and there would be a 6-inch overhang on the new structure encroaching into the 1-foot setback. The setback variation would be unnecessary if the entire garage was shifted to the south. given that there is sufficient lot width and yard area to comply with the setback requirements from both property lines, north and south. However, there is an existing utility pole located along the alley that would impede access to the new garage if the new garage was shifted to the south. And it's cost prohibitive for the petitioner to pay to relocate the existing utility pole. And so in order to provide direct access from the alley to each of the new garage doors, the wall of the proposed garage is located 1 foot from the north property line. Per the zoning ordinance, no more than 30% of ground area of any residential lot may be covered by structures. The remaining 70%, except that devoted to driveways and parking areas, shall be landscaped to avoid becoming a nuisance. The submitted plans indicate that the proposed 4-car garage would increase the overall lot coverage to 44%. If the zoning board desires to approve the variations to reduce the minimum setback from 3 feet to 1 foot on the north and to increase the allowable lot coverage from 30% to 44% to allow the garage to be built at 516 through 518 North Hickory Street, the following conditions would be included. 1, that a building permit shall be obtained prior to construction. That concludes staff's report.
Thank you. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes.
Names and addresses.
My name is Bob Gable from United Architects, 1002 Plainfield Road in Joliet.
My name is Norma Vasquez, 1814 Lovelolly Drive, Normal, Illinois,
Okay,
617.
any comments you'd like to make?
2 hours.
No, that the staff report basically indicated that that we could only, I mean, basically we put the garage close to the north property line because of that telephone pole or utility pole. At first, when the client contacted us, we said, okay, yeah, we can make that 4-car garage, and we had it centered within the north and south property lines. But then we went out there and double-checked, and there was that pole right there, so we measured and
Okay, what initiated your request for this anyway? It's just a need for more parking, garage?
the owner basically wanted to tear down the existing garage and build a new garage and make it a little better. Right now, there's basically just concrete on the side of the garage. I believe cars are parking there now anyway. And the other reason that was to enclose the back portion. As you can kind of see here, people were cutting through the alley going to Hickory Street on the front. They wanted to cut that off. In front of the house, they put a fence up there. I don't know how long ago that was, but that was part of the reason to enclose the back part.
Yeah, another reason is because see the windows by the side of the garage. Couple times they break the glasses to try to stall. So we try to avoid, all those inconveniences for the tenants and keep people more safe. To not allow people crossing, because sometimes when it's dark earlier, people try to run away to go to that street, like he says already. We try to not give any space. To the other side of the garage is a door. It can be a little space and by the sidewalk. So it's mainly to look better to the property and then give more safe to our tenants.
Any questions by the board? Comments? Anyone in the audience in favor? Is anyone opposed? Chair closes petition. Ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Move we approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. Pull the board.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Nectry?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, new business, items not having a public hearing, we have no business. Item 9 is the final public comments. It's just for anyone wishing to speak on any non-agenda items, and there's a maximum 4-minute time limit in effect. Anybody wishing to speak on non-agenda items? to the zoning board? Seeing none, your last item is for adjournment.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting is adjourned.